that allows players to gain huge advantages such as unlimited money. Hello everyone, it's Game Jacker, and today we're going to be talking about game exploits. Now, before we get started, from now on, we're going to call the game H word, you know, this word right here, we're going to call that Jacks, okay? Not the other word, we're going to call it Jacks, Game Jacks, okay? Just in keeping with the channel name and everything. So, game exploits, what are they? What are they good for? Let's get right into it. So, exploiting is arguably the most powerful cheat in games these days, especially since mobile gaming has become so extremely popular. If you head over to hackerbot.net by simply googling hackerbot, you can see that the most popular games on our site are actually mobile games. Now, what do all these games have in common? They are generally online games, and that is the point right here. That is why exploits have become so extremely powerful. Now, an exploit is generally a bug in the game, which means a mistake in the code of the game that allows players to gain huge advantages such as unlimited money, duplicating items, clipping through the world, god modes, and much more. If you remember, maybe if you're one of the older people like me, one of the boomers, you know, you might remember the missing no glitch in the Pokemon games, or loot caves in games like Destiny, you know, that were just infinitely respawning mobs, so you could basically grind all the good stuff within mere minutes by simply standing there and shooting into a cave blindly, or almost blindly for that matter. So those are examples of exploits, but why are they so extremely powerful? Why are they some of the most relevant cheats today? Now, as I've mentioned, online games are the key to this answer. Now, most games these days, because they want to sell you gems or loot boxes or all of it, they want to get all of your money. What they do is, in order to prevent you from simply using a program such as, for example, this one, Cheat Engine, or Game Guardian for Android, or Game Jam for iOS, simply Google hackerbot software if you want to download those tools. In order to prevent simple memory editing techniques for game jacking, of course, not the other word, in order to prevent that, they have moved a lot of the game data processing, such as your account data, your money, your purchases, and so on, to the game servers. Those are computers that belong to the developers, that they control, that you cannot modify or jack in any way, okay? So that is how they have gone around that game jacking issue in order to make it almost impossible for you to cheat. However, this is where exploits come in. You're like a white knight on a horse, on a strong stallion horse. I don't know why I'm so focused on the horse. But that is where exploiting comes in. Now, rare bugs in the game code on the server side can make insane cheats possible where they were previously impossible. And that is stuff that we're going to look at right now. So, the most popular ones are, of course, in shooters you can glitch through walls and maybe shoot through walls, making you basically unshootable, unkillable. It's basically a god mode if you manage to clip into a house and you can still shoot through the house. So that is a very popular thing. Then, of course, duplicating items. That's something that works in a lot of single-player games and multiplayer games. However, usually these cheats are very soon after they're discovered in online games patched out of the game. So use them as long as you are able to, because usually they get patched out, and sometimes the changes that have been made before the rollout, the patching of the cheat, of the jack, game jack, will be re-rolled. So that means everything will be undone, and sometimes people even get banned for using these kinds of exploits. Although, in my opinion, it's fair game. So let's just have, or even, yeah, loot caves, those are also very popular. So let's have a look at some of those exploits that, one of them actually I used myself at one point. Let's go to the Fallout 76 one. So this is one that I personally used myself, and I was not very often lucky enough to use these cheats because you have to be there when the game basically is released. Okay, in the case of Fallout 76, I was there from day one, and that is exactly when online games will have the most exploits. So keep this in mind when you're looking for exploits. Most of them will be found in the first few months of the game existing, okay? And that is very important to note. So let's just have a look at this one in particular. So what was the issue here is there was just this one trap, you know, there were enemies in the game, there were all kinds of stuff in the game. But there was this one skill that allowed you to disarm traps, okay? And these traps, they would give you XP and some crafting components when you disarmed them. And there was just this one trap on the map that would sometimes bug out. Like, I think when I used it, the chances of you hitting a server that had this bug was like 50%. So you went up to this trap, and you could just disarm it over and over and over again. You just spam the F key like I basically used a bot to just spam the F key 1,000 times a second, and as you can see, you get unlimited of these resources, you get unlimited XP, and you just level up and level up forever, essentially. And you can just keep doing that forever. And in this particular game, this allowed you basically to max out your character in a few hours, okay? You could just get to level 300 or whatever. I stopped at like a level 120 or so, not to make it too obvious, because I am very familiar with this kind of cheating technique, and you should never overdo it, okay? If you can use an exploit a lot, yeah, maybe just use it a moderate amount, so that you're not one of the people, you know, that have 3 billion XP when the maximum you can actually have is maybe 30,000. So do keep that in mind if you don't want to get banned. Let's have a look at another one. This is in Skyrim. This basically makes you invisible, okay? So this guy is invisible. He used the glitch to become invisible, and he's basically invisible to enemies, mobs. Nothing reacts to him. As you can see, the AI of the enemies is basically frozen as if he didn't even exist. So that is also very cool. That does exist as well. Now, in multiplayer games, this is one of the rarer ones, invisibility, but it does happen. I heard about some kind of battle royale game where if somebody, you know, called in a supply drop on your position, friendly, and you got crushed by it, you would basically become invisible. Stuff like that. And then there's, of course, the item duplication. Now, in this case, how the item duplication works is you move over a stack of items from one storage to another, and then you press escape to close the inventory at the same time as dropping the stack, and that would basically duplicate the stack. And here it didn't work, here it actually worked. So this is another example. Now this is not always how it works, okay? This is just how it worked in this particular game. There are thousands of different ways this is done. Now, if you want to find exploits, yourself, it's going to be very difficult, okay? It's just trial and error. And so there's 2 ways, trial and error, or 3 ways. Trying to use lag, like lag switches, that's software that allows you to enable lag, and trying to do things that way. And then there is packet recording and editing. Now, I once started doing some of the packet editing and recording and stuff. Basically what it is you download software that monitors the traffic between you and the game server, allows you to monitor all the data that is being sent, and then you tinker around with that data, okay? Maybe you see, if I'm buying an item from this vendor at this price, this packet is sent to the server, okay? So what if I change that packet, you know? Maybe what if I put in an item ID of an item that I'm not actually able to buy at this vendor? Does that work? Oh, it works. Oh, okay. How about I edit the price and make it 0? Oh, that works. Nice. Okay. And that is how most exploits are found. And those exploits, sometimes they go undiscovered forever, okay? There's people that have made millions using those. I'm not recommending, by the way, that you do that. That is highly immoral and barely legal, depending on your jurisdiction. So please don't do that. Please don't sell items that you cheated into the game. Yeah, just as an FYI. So we've talked about how they work. They are basically bugs in the game that allow you to cheat. They can get around the limitations of server-side processing, which is why they're potentially the most effective game jack, or the most powerful game jack out there. And yeah, basically also a great advantage of exploits and exploiting in video games is that they are extremely easy to use. Some of these exploits, like the one I showed you in Fallout 76, a monkey could do this. Like, you could find this on accident. You could just be like, oh, I'm just gonna disarm this trap forever. And now you're at level 7,000 and your character is all maxed out and yeah! Anyways, so some of them are that easy. Some of them are pretty difficult to use. Like this one is medium. It doesn't require tools. It's still pretty easy. And then there's more complicated ones that may require lag and may require you to trade with other players and so on. So, which brings us to the last of all the questions. Of course. How do you get these exploits? Yes, this is all very interesting, but how do I get it for my game? Okay, first of all, chances of exploits being present highest when the game is new, okay? So, new games, better chance than old games. Now, I would love to tell you about hackerbot.net, where you can find all the cheats. Just go to find free cheats on hackerbot.net. You can find hackerbot.net by Googling hackerbot. Or, and I didn't even write the name right. Or you could just Google game hacks and find us at hackerbot.net. Go to find free cheats. Enter the name of your game, whatever it might be. Fallout 76, if anybody still plays that. And you can find cheat arenas for your game. Anyways, but this is not the ideal solution for exploits. But I had to plug it anyways, because that's what we do here. So, anyways, so for exploits in particular, because they are so extremely short-lived, your best chance of finding an active exploit is actually YouTube. Okay, the video platform that you're probably watching this video on as well. So, what you're gonna want to do is keep your attention on the news about your game. Okay, if there's content creators creating content for your game and they're posting regularly, ideally daily, follow them. They will complain about the exploits, okay? Like in Fallout 76, everybody was like, yeah, there's duplication going on, there's unlimited XP, people have God mode 3, it's evil, there are game jackers everywhere. And they were right, and that is how I found out about this exploit. And then the developers didn't fix it within 12 hours, and I was able to use it. I mean, this existed for multiple days, even weeks. So I'm not, by the way, I'm not attacking Bethesda. I love Bethesda. I think they've done great when it comes to Fallout 76. It did start out a little bit rough, but yeah, they fixed stuff over time. So, but yeah, it basically, that's how you do it. You have to have people that watch the game very carefully. You could, in theory, pay attention to all the game cheating forums and stuff, but that's gonna be a lot of work. YouTube is, at this moment, the best way to find out about these cheats, or maybe Reddit, who knows? Probably not Reddit, probably YouTube. And there's even still, for this exploit, you can still find tutorials on how to do it 3 years later. So that's basically the best way to do it. Anyways, guys, that is it for exploits. One of the most versatile, easiest to use, and best game jacking methods for all the cheaterinos out there. Again, go to hackerbot.net hackerbot.net. I just can't. I can't write it. I'm sorry. I'm not good at typing and doing videos at the same time. So anyways, go to hackerbot.net, find the best cheats, mods, and hacks for your Android and iOS and PC and whatever games you can think of. We allow you to skip all the scams, all the fakes, all the weird, unlimited gem generators, and give you the cheats that actually exist so that you can have the best experience game jacking that you want. Anyways, guys, I will see you guys later. We'll be talking about more game cheats in the future. Anyways, this is it for me, Game Jacker, and hackerbot.net. I'll see you guys soon.